boys and girls. We are midweek hump day, as they say. Remember Carl the camel? That's neither here nor there.
Mike, Mike, Mike,
This
Mike, Mike.
you do remember Carl the camel? Don't make me title this episode Mike, 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 Mike. Jesus Christmas. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very special guest, the cold, hard truth, Johnny Pierce. Welcome back to STP, my man. I appreciate your return.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me. What'd you say? It was 8 months?
8 months, my man. It's been 8 months.
8 long months. A lot can happen in 8 months, and I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot about that.
Well, that's why we like the returns, especially with the young talents that all young talents are hungry and eager and want it all now.
That's me.
And see, that's what I'm saying, boys and girls. But within a year's time, there's actually a lot more maturity within the business. Sometimes, not all the time, not all the time. There's maturity within the business, if you will, within your presentation when you come through the curtain, your move set, your gimmick, your character, if you will. So a lot can happen in an 8-month span when it comes to wrestling. And that's why we like the returns, especially of the younger talent that are really hungry and want to do everything that they possibly can. Because we see if you've kind of simmered down a little bit and thought things through and, how things are going and all of we'll go over a bunch of stuff from here to there. But you know me, Mr. Pierce, we don't write nothing down. So we just do this roller coaster. Whatever pops in our heads, we just kind of chit chat about. Well, again, welcome back. And I appreciate boys and girls. Before we start, I always appreciate them coming on. We love when the talent come on STP and stuff. But we know how busy they're. And not that, the fans aren't busy and we don't have our own lives, but they're trying to juggle home life and wrestling at the same time. And sometimes other things. They have hobbies and shit too. So they do extracurricular activities. So getting their time, I mean, for me personally, a little extra special. So not to kiss your ass or anything, Mr. Pierce, but I just kind of want to generally blanket that out there. Getting the talent's time to come on here and talk to us, the fans, I feel is just a little bit special. And I appreciate your time, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, with anything in life, if you want to do something bad enough, you make time for it. So, I wanted to do this bad enough, I made time for it. You wanted to do this bad enough, you made time for me. On the flip side, I want to thank you for continuing to do these STPs, continuing to have talent like me on your shows, and like I don't know if you realize what it does for us. Obviously, me and you like to talk wrestling, and we can talk about pretty much anything, but what you're doing for myself and for every guest that's ever been on the show. I don't even think I have the words right now. Normally I'm more articulate, but it goes a long way. I appreciate it. I know that the viewers and anyone that watches these appreciate it. So thank you, Don.
Starting off yet again, STP with a little bit of love, little reciprocated love. Thank you so much for your beautiful words, my friend. And you never know where some of these will start, boys and girls, because Johnny Pierce, he's a big MFer. Yeah, he's a big MFer, so you never know. And we had a little bit of rocky relationship because of the association with Buff Inc., if you will, over here and over there. But anywho, you never know where these are going to start, but we start off with a little bit of reciprocated love, and I absolutely adore that because we get to sit down and pick the brains, if you will, see what's going on in their life. If they let us pull the curtain back, we try to dig a little bit, maybe get a scoop or two.
I will say that I'll be down to pretty much talk about anything.
Okay.
I've tried to be a nice guy, and nobody seems to really like me anyway. So it's like, if you don't like me being nice, then I might as well just come out and tell it like it is anyway, because I feel like I have nothing to lose and pretty much everything to gain anyway. So I mean, whatever.
Well, why don't we just start off right there? We may, and I'm sure we did, have gone over, I like to talk about the origins of, the characters that the talents build. Are they from scratch? Are they kind of natural from within, turned up to, 11, if you will, and
Yeah.
stuff like that? I'm positive we did cover that, but let's start with the name. There's monikers in the front of most, boxing, the combat sports, and
Yeah.
sometimes they're stuck in the middle of, Johnny, the cold hard truth, Pierce, and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that moniker, the cold hard truth, because you just kind of touched upon something. You know what? Nobody likes me. I kind of tried a little bit. If you don't like me, tough shit. What
Right.
is with the name, the cold hard truth? Can you give us some of that?
Yeah. It's a mixture of things that have happened in my personal life as well as my experiences in wrestling, where I started doing this in 2017, and it was a rocky road, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and my biggest problem was that I wasn't consistent enough with my in-ring training. So I'd train a few weeks, I'd make leaps and bounds with my training. Life would kind of chew me up and spit me out personally, so I would take time off, go back, take time off, go back. Um, as I've gotten older, I've learned a lot. I've matured. I used to be somebody that would kind of just say whatever the heck I wanted to, and maybe lie a little bit here and there, whether it was a white lie or a big lie, and never really care about the consequences. But as I've gotten older, like it is very important, in your personal, professional life, to always tell the truth, to be humble, to be honest, to be trustworthy. And I feel like that's where my maturity has kicked in as I've gotten older. Is like I really don't like when people lie to me. I like to. I'm a big proponent of if you say you're going to do something, then you better do it. Um, if I start something, I got to finish it. I got to see it through. I can't just do something. I can swear on here. I can't half-ass things. I have to full-ass. I don't like people that half-ass. People that put in 50% and they want to get 100% of the results by putting in 50% of the effort. Like that's not how it works. And so for the longest time, I was trying to come up with a wrestling character, and I was struggling with it. And I was reaching out to different people in the wrestling community. How do I come up with a character? Like what should I do? Da da da. And a lot of good advice came to me. It was like, hey, don't worry about the character stuff now. Just keep going to training, get the moves down, keep going to training, grind, grind, grind. Eventually, one of my trainers kind of just threw me an exercise. We said, you have 10 minutes to come up with a character and cut a promo. I took my I took my basketball background because I played in college basketball for the Division III, and I was a big fan of the Boston Celtics growing up, and Paul Pierce was always my favorite NBA player. And they, Shaquille O'Neal called him the Truth. So I took my first name John and his last name Pierce and meshed them together. And I wanted to differentiate myself. I didn't want to go around as the Truth, John Pierce, or you have R Truth, Ron Killings. I didn't want to do that. So I said, how can I differentiate that? And I said, I'll just call myself the Cold Hard Truth, Johnny Pierce. And so it's everything that me like it's everything I want to be on 11. It's the kind of man that I want to be that I'm not. So I'm a nice guy. Johnny Pierce is a bad guy. I don't always stick up for myself. I don't really do a good job picking my battles when I need to put my foot down and stand up for myself. But if you come knocking on Johnny Pierce's door, yeah, he's gonna answer it and kick that sucker down. So
Hmm.
that's how the character came about.
So it's kind of interesting that you speak of the polar differences, but it's you, again, as we've spoken, we both said already, turned up to 11, one Mr.
Yep.
Pierce.
Yep.
Let's stick on the character because I'm a good guy. I don't stand up for myself in certain battles when I should. Hey, I ordered that medium rare, damn it. Stuff like that, right? that's not Johnny slash without the Pierce, but
Yeah.
Johnny with the Pierce get my goddamn steak the way I want it. You know what I'm saying? So
Don't make me tell you again.
you have some polar opposites
Yeah.
that you're bringing to this character to differentiate, and this is going to be all balled up into a question.
Yep.
To differentiate, because some we'll just say Ric Flair is a prime example. He never turned the damn thing off. He's always Ric Flair,
Right.
no matter if he's at the convenience store, if he's at home taking a shower, he's probably doing Ric Flair fucking shit in the shower. You never know.
Definitely.
But he's always Ric Flair. Are you kind of this polar opposite in the character because you get to differentiate from life, like legit the shoot, the shoot and the wrestling, because we do talk about how it is kind of two worlds, and guys and girls get caught up being that character.
You nailed it. I feel like if I was Johnny Pierce in my personal life, I would lose myself. I'm a nice guy. People like me outside of wrestling for whatever reason. In wrestling, I think I walk into a room and people just have these like preconceived notions or misconceptions, like, oh, look at this big guy, screw him, fuck him, whatever. So like if in my personal life, if I went around being a dickhead to everybody, you know, people don't like that. People aren't going to like a big guy who bullies everyone. And growing up, I was small and got bullied, so I like to stand up for people that get bullied. I'm very anti-bullying.
Right.
I don't think I could be my wrestling character in my personal life. I think it's very important for people that have a wrestling character to know when it's pertinent to switch it on and switch it off. Like there is a time and a place to be yourself on 11 or whatever you might be, but you have to know, like, there's also a time and place to turn that kayfabe off, like turn that switch off and be your normal self. And I think a lot of people don't understand that concept. I think there's maybe too many people in wrestling that still think like this is really how it has to be, and like you're very wrong about that.
It's almost like the real and the wrestling, it's just all combined together as real life. And I've seen it in a few of the boys and girls out there. Sometimes you just get so caught up in it, Mr. Pierce.
No, I
guess
experience it too. I do. I feel it too. But I also think I have a good idea around when to turn it off and turn it on. But no, I feel what you're saying, and it does happen. Like you lose yourself in those moments, and once that switches on, it is difficult to turn off.
It seems at this point you seem to be quite happy with what you've started with the Cold Hard Truth, Johnny Pierce, to where we are right now. Because again, we were talking 8 months ago and you were having a blast. And I know we're going to get into a little bit of, the training and persevering and all of that. But the character itself, it seems that you're pretty happy where you're at with that.
Absolutely. When I decided on this character, it was something that I didn't want to have to like rebrand myself. I feel like it's not often, but sometimes you see guys go around a couple years as a character on the indie scene, and then all of a sudden they repackage themselves and debut as either something completely different entirely, or they sprinkle in like a new moniker with some new gear and some new this and some new that. And I'm just not one of those guys that wanted to do that. I wanted to come up with a solid character and be well known for this one character, no matter where I am or who I'm wrestling. Like I wanted to be known as the Cold Hard Truth, Johnny Pierce. Right now, I got this heel character pretty fleshed out, but it'll be interesting to see if I ever turn babyface, what that would look like. I have an idea of what I want, but it still is very much at the ground floor level, and I don't really feel comfortable even doing that yet. So,
right.
For those of the bookers out there that are lining up at my door to book me as a babyface, that was a joke because nobody's doing that. But I'm not ready to really do that.
You kind of have a concepted vision of kind of what babyface Johnny Pierce would.
Yeah, he's like a throwback to like the '90s with like jock jams, and you wanna go to a party and party with Johnny Pierce. That's the
Yes,
kind of babyface character that I would
yes.
be cooking up. I just don't really have many layers to really divulge
Okay.
into. Where the heel character, I could probably devote a whole episode to talking about the different layers of the heel character.
Uh, Now volume 32. You could come out with a now volume.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, oh, you could do some fun stuff with that for sure.
right.
But then you don't want to turn it into a
Yeah,
prop gimmick
I'm not
kind of
trying to
thing.
be one of those guys that flip
Yeah.
flops. Like one night I'm working a baby, the next night I'm working a heel. I work baby at this promotion, but I work heel at this promotion. Like, nah, I'm a heel. And until you know,
You know.
it's only happened. It's only happened like 2 times where it was something that was put on to me where it's like, hey, one of my baby faces had to like leave. I need a baby, and it just kind of happened like that. I didn't really have much of a
Mhm.
choice. But no, I'd like to only be known as like a good guy or a bad guy. Not I don't want to do like the flip flop in between stuff.
Right. Uh, I can feel almost every single word that you just spoke because we talk a lot of, at least I do, about that specific topic. Promoters. I know that sometimes you run into a bind, and I get that.
Yeah,
We all get that.
yeah,
Card subject to change, and it's on every flyer, it's on all the
absolutely.
posters, and I get that. Okay. But for shits and giggles, because that's something that you think that would work here instead of what is being done in other promotions, I can't. And I'm not afraid to just stand up and boo while everybody cheers, and not knowing that I'm supposed to be cheering. Okay. And it's
Mhm.
happened a couple times, but I don't give a shit. I still boo as loud as I want to. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
If I've seen you a heel every single time, and then this one promotion, I'm sorry. I've been booing you for like a year and a half. Why are you making me cheer at this one place?
No.
So I really feel that as a fan. Again, unless you're in a bind, that's something. But in general, to just do that, I'd rather not see that from different promotions. Build. We talk about stories, characters, and in ring. Those are the three things that personally I love about wrestling. And obviously the athleticism and everything along that goes with it. But give me those three things. If you're building on a character, like we're talking about the cold hard truth, you can't be flip flopping from territory to territory, if you will.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side, like on the same breath, it is important to be able to do both and do them both
Yes.
well. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. I put a lot of my focus into just being a good heel, and
No,
then maybe someday down the road, I'll be a good baby face. But I'm not concerned with that right now.
hey, I'm picking up what you're putting down, my man. For real, I'm digging that as a fan. I love that. Um, so let's kind of get into the training because as we evolve, the character's really sticking.
Yep.
Um, Now the training, it's a never-ending process. That's kind of part of the thing in wrestling. You never stop learning in wrestling. Talk to us about the training that's been going on in the past 8 months, and not only the training, but the repetitions, as they say, as you've been getting in ring from
Yeah.
promotion to promotion, and the returns of said promotions, and getting
Yeah.
in these reps and getting better, honing your craft,
Mhm.
honing that craft. Talk to us about how that's been going and where you're at personally, where you think from where we spoke back in August.
Mhm. It's ironic because when we last spoke, I was like just on the cusp of finally like debuting and having matches. I remember talking to you in August about like that big War Games steel cage match, and if you fast forward now, I have like a 6 win, a 6 6 in a row win streak for singles competition for that same promotion, New England Ring Gladiators NRG. My group has been dissolved after we lost in the War Games match, but I've been able to have Kevin Castro accompany me to each of my matches. He is my mouthpiece. He is my manager, and he's helping me out a lot with my career. Um, my next match coming up, like I mentioned to you off air, for them is Friday, April 21st, I believe, in East Providence, Rhode Island. It's a brand new venue that we're debuting at, and I'm wrestling the Mindy Racer Mike Graca. I think I pronounced the last name right, Graca.
Okay, okay. Pa Jose, as they say in French. Pause, please. Pa Jose, right there. First off, NRG is hosting this event that you're speaking of, right? We're still on NRG, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Second off, the minor racer, Mike Grassa, you got to put a little something on his name, because I don't know if you're familiar with
No,
one
he's a
Mike
big
Grassa.
deal, and like this is one of
Okay.
my biggest matches to date. I have looked forward to having the pleasure or the honor of getting in the ring with him to do something, and it's finally coming into fruition.
Okay.
You know, this kind of just happened. It kind of just fell into my lap. But I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm training hard, and we're gonna have a very good match. If anybody's in that area, definitely gonna want to pull up. You definitely want to buy a ticket just to see that match, and then there's plenty of other matches that night. Like Dirty Dango will be performing. There is a seminar earlier that day that he's putting on. I've already done Dirty Dango seminar a year ago, and I'm doing my second one there that day. I very
It's for
much recommend it.
$40, right?
Yeah, it's like $40, but it's worth every dollar. If you're a experienced wrestler or anybody in the business that is looking to learn something from a guy who made it to the top of the mountain, I recommend that you be there or be square. But yeah, getting back to your original question, I was transitioning to the Bell Time Club in Wakefield, Massachusetts back in August. My training was very consistent up to a point. And then I went to an Anthony Green seminar in September, and my girlfriend, who's also in wrestling, suffered a back injury where she broke a bone in her back. So, temporarily speaking, I had to take time off and step away from my training classes because I felt like at the time I wouldn't have been, a responsible or good boyfriend to be like, hey, I'm going to leave you for a few hours to go train to be a wrestler, and I wanted to be by her side and help her recover. She has since recovered and is now back at training class. I had just started a new job at that time and have since been promoted, where now I'm running my own store. So that's good because finances were pretty tough. So that was getting in the way of my training classes, and now I was back at training, and right now I'm just kind of taking some time off there to reassess. Getting reps in. I'm getting reps in all over the place. With these matches, it's been really good for me because I feel very comfortable with my body of work right now. I know there's a lot of things I need to work on still. Like you said, you learn every day, but I know what my weaknesses are. I know what needs to be polished up, and I do have big plans. I got tricks up my sleeve. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm in the weight room almost every freaking day, and I got an insane pump in earlier today this morning, so I'm feeling really good about where my strength is at. A year and a half ago, I suffered a crazy neck injury and lost a bunch of strength, so I feel like I've not only gotten all that strength back, but like right now I'm doing more weight and more reps than like I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm 33 years old, so it's only up from here. I'm taking a lot of nutritional supplements to help me out with that. Multivitamins, protein, creatine. I'm feeling real good, and I'm licking my chops for all my my upcoming matches. It's busy right now. Like I'm glad you had me on right now. They say timing is everything. This is like the perfect time for me to come onto the show. Obviously I have that big match at NRG next weekend, but this weekend,
Huh?
8 months have passed since we talked, Don, and I am now, for the first time in my life, in my career, uh, wrestling champion. I'm a tag team champion with Diego Alvarez in ETWA up in Vermont. So we are going to Stansted, Quebec, Canada on Saturday, this Saturday, to defend our newly won tag team championships and win.
Oh, first off, congratulations. That's amazing. Love
Thank you.
hearing the
Thank you.
talents and their accolades that they acquire.
Got a little gold. Got a
Because,
little gold.
yeah, because, and I know some of the guys and girls, it's not all about the titles and everything, but sometimes it is because when you get the titles, you get a couple more eyes on you. You get a
Yeah,
little
I
more
mean,
notoriety, you know?
I want to be the very best I can be. I got into wrestling because I wanted to be, if not the best big man to come out of New England, one of the best. I want to be in that conversation.
All right.
There's a lot of comparisons that are drawn when people see me. Oh, you remind me of this guy, or you remind me of that guy. But I'd like to think that if I haven't already proven that I bring something else to the table, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, I want to show that, yeah, you might compare me to so and so, but there's a few things that I can do that this person might not be able to do. I want to show people I'm not a cookie cutter carbon copy cutout of some big man you've seen before. Just to throw a name out of a hat, like people say, "Oh, you're Kevin Nash, you're Diesel," and it's like, yeah, I hear that. That's cool. I do step over the top rope. I do cool stuff, but like I move. I feel like I move better than he does. I'm athletic. I've never seen Kevin Nash do a leapfrog. I if I'm wrong, somebody show me. I've seen him. I think it was him. He jumped off a turnbuckle and like broke his leg. Is that true?
Uh, that I'm that I'm not sure. He could have blown a quad, but if anything that
Whatever.
I
Everybody's seen
remember,
that video. He jumps off, he lands awkwardly, his legs torn to pieces, and it's like until you see Johnny Pierce jump, leave his feet, and Shane McMahon myself from WrestleMania, I don't want to hear that shit.
I think what you are speaking of, which brings me back, it was WCW,
Yeah.
Sid Vicious against Scott Steiner, and Sid Vicious was coming off, and
Oh
his
yeah.
leg
And wasn't he
just
like a bigger guy? Wasn't he a bigger guy?
yes, yes, Sid
I don't
Vicious
get
was a
those
giant dude.
comparisons, but I'd like to think that if you insert Johnny Pierce up on that middle turnbuckle or top turnbuckle, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna land on my 2 feet like a cat, and I'm not gonna blow out any of my ligaments, tendons, broken bones, nothing. I'm healthy as an ox. I'm strong as a bull. Like I don't want to hear that.
Okay, so let's say on that kind of road right there, because not we see how do I use this? I'll just I'll just throw it out right now. Someone that's very familiar with everybody at this point.
Yeah.
MJF.
Yeah.
When he went against Danielson, Brian and Danielson, whatever the fuck he's going by
American
nowadays.
Dragon. Yeah.
But when he went against in that Iron Man match, he pulled out a couple fucking tricks that we've never seen him do as fans. Now, that brings me back to why I'm on this topic. You're a bigger guy that can probably do, and I love this, seeing
Get that word
visually.
probably out. Get that word probably out.
Doing big guys that can do shit that they shouldn't be doing.
Oh yeah, I get that
ring.
all the time, Don.
Okay,
Like,
but
hey, don't do this, don't do that. Go ahead.
right, do you pull it out when it's special, or are you trying to
Yeah.
pull out all of this crazy stuff that a big guy shouldn't do on a regular basis?
So no, I don't do that. Yes, I'm trying to save it for the special moment. A lot of the feedback that I get is like, "Hey, big man, wait to do that because you need to do that against someone similar to your size, where it's believable. Because if I go around leapfrogging some smaller wrestler, then it's like, what the hell? What the hell?" So like a lot of the stuff you don't see me do that you see a lot of other wrestlers do, like I can not only do it, but I'd be willing to bet, and I'm not a gambling man, but I'd be willing to bet that I can do it better. It's just that people don't want to see me do that stuff right now because it's just not the right time or place, or I don't have the right opponent, or I'm pretty
Right.
green. I'm green, and I'm still like under a year of actively wrestling. So a lot of times I'll go to a show that I'm booked on with all these different ideas that I want to do and incorporate into my match. And thank God for these people because a lot of times they'll take my ideas and they just condense them down. So sorry about that.
No, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it would take a lot of my ideas and condense them down because you can do more with less. If I get 5 to 8 minutes, I can't go out there and do like the old NXT thing where like all these freakishly athletic people are running around like chickens with their heads cut off and doing
Yeah.
700 moves. And as a fan, you're like, what am I watching? So,
Now, I won't ask you what your favorite match or even your favorite opponent has been up to this point. Who has been height wise closest to you across that ring? Offhand, who could you talk about that's been one of the big mans that stands out right now? That's
yeah.
been your
Whew. Right now, let me put my thinking cap on. Um, Easiest one that comes to mind without really much thought is Frank Champion. Um,
okay.
Him and I are definitely going to clash this summer because he's been a thorn in my side for way too long. We've actually been at each other for about a year now over at NRG.
Oh,
Back when I was the head of security for the Cornerstone, he kept like interfering in our business, and then we ended up having that big steel cage war games match, and him and I have had a few face-offs, and so far I've been able to get the upper hand. Most recently, uh, I wrestled against the Hard Work Heroes, Hard Work Barnaby Combs and Aaron Kadamia in singles matches, and then after the bell, my manager Kevin Castro said to keep roughing them up, so he pays my check, so he signs my check, so I did what I was told, and Frank Champion's come out and broke that up, so
oh,
him and I, when we face off, it's pretty much, eye level. We're pretty much the same size and height. So when the two of us finally get to tangle up, that's going to be worth the price of admission. And get your mother effing popcorn out because that's going to be a hard hitting affair. Um, as far as other taller guys go, I haven't had the chance of actually getting to wrestle this person, but I've been on shows before with I'm gonna botch the name, but I want to say Perfect Perkins. I don't know if you've seen or
legit
heard about
perfect
him.
Perkins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got height and size, and I feel like him and
yeah.
I do well together. Um, I don't know. I'm not really thinking super clearly right now. I've had a long day, but
No, that's
it's
okay.
few. They're few and far between. This is a funny one. I'll make you laugh. Buff Dad and I are pretty tall, so Buff
Uh,
Dad and I, we're similar in size. He's a taller guy. I thought I was tall, and then I saw Buff Dad. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah.
do you guys still running in the same circle up in your area, yourself and Buffs? Because I see them, they got their thing going on over there as well.
Yeah. Every now and then, we'll see them at some shows, and I'm actually where they hooked me up with Shut Up and Wrestle. I'm in the process of trying to get them to come up to Vermont because it's a great place to be. I'm having a lot of fun. They're taking care of me and the other talent, and believe it or not, Don, the promoters actually want them up there. So it's just a matter of time. They'll make their way.
Why? 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 Why?
Well, they're great. That's why.
all right, all right. Let's calm down. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Pull the curtain just a smidge. All
Mhm.
bullshit aside, all the shenanigans and the chicanery and the tomfoolery. Let's be real. Buff
Mhm.
Dad, too buff. father and son, legit father and son team in wrestling. Them two, I mean, come on, man. It is some. I mean, the kid can actually go. I know they're a comedy, gimmicky team, if you will, and God, do they make us fucking laugh something fierce. But the kid can go. And people, I don't really think, legitimately, I don't think that people assume that 1-2 Buff can actually go. Because, I mean, come on. Buff Dad, he's like the president of the AARP. That guy is not going in the ring. Now, the kid, he could do some stuff in ring. And I'm just kind of putting that out there. I'm kind of, giving him a little bit of props. I can't believe I just did that. But you can agree with that, right, my man?
When you think of like from an entertainment standpoint, I personally haven't met anybody yet that like matches their level of entertainment. They have a knack for like going out there and getting the crowd to react to the maximum. You love them, hate them, whatever. Whenever I'm struggling to come up with a creative idea, I know I can go to them, and they have so much like knowledge of different ways to like get a crowd reaction, or different ways to get the same kind of get where you're trying to go just a little differently, think a little differently, more creatively, which helps me out a lot because like I'm new. So if I say, hey, I want to do this and this, I can always go to Buff Dad or 2 Buff, and they'll say, no, Johnny, you don't have to do all that. Just do this.
Hmm.
And you don't get that a lot. It's just not. It's not there a lot, And I appreciate all their help and guidance.
No, that is absolutely beautiful because, again, that's part of less is more. First off, but the knowledge being passed on, and I mean, those guys have been around. The XWA, they lived at the XWA for I don't even know how long. It was been a good few years over there, and at the XWA, it's the Kingdom training facility. At one time, you had at the head of everything was one Mike Bennett. You had Matt Taven. You had Vinny Marsalia. You had one TK O'Ryan. I'm talking, you had these guys there on a regular basis, just the characters, the students, the professionalism, the representation when you graduated and moved on and became, a character, and they represented well outside of X facility. Buff Dads, not Buff Dads, Jesus Christmas. Buff Dad and 2 Buff has been around so many big names and have talked to and gotten and soaked in so much knowledge from so much talent that we have seen on TV for years and years and years. I can't even count how many fucking people that these guys have actually met behind the scenes and talked to and get the knowledge of.
And you know what? They're not shy. They're not shy to pass that down. So if you're like
not at all
a newer talent, or even like an older talent, if you need advice, like seek them out. They'll offer it.
And believe me, I did not mean to yammer about One Buff Inc. collectively there, but I see it, and I've seen it personally at the shows.
Yeah.
So I mean, it hits me in my, it's got a little place in my heart because I see it passed on to the talent, like you were saying, and I love that shit. Yeah. Excuse me. You're talking, you get, on these cards with the indie wrestling.
Yeah.
You get some of the talent that have been on the WWE shows or Impact shows or, whatever platforms that they've been on that we see and know and are familiar with. The likes of what you're saying, Dirty Dango. I know he's right now on a little bit of a tour, if you will, doing his thing. And, pretty hot right now. He just went against speaking of, hard hitting Bobby Ocean on a singles match. That was a pretty excellent match to witness live. But talk to us about, getting the knowledge. We're talking right here with the indie talent and the peers in the locker room. But talk to us about the bigger talent that are doing this. Are you running into that?
I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. Like I said earlier, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to me, I'm not very well liked. So the few people that do like me, I've been very fortunate to soak up uh, enough knowledge, and I get to like learn under the wisdom tree. Um, if I were to name drop right now, um, the most like I guess famous guy I've been able to connect with is AEW's Jora Joel. Um, I've known him for a long time, back to my early days of training. And then obviously, like, we go our separate ways as we do, and then we come back into each other's lives. And he's really taken me under his wing. We've shared a few car rides here and there. Sometimes I help him out with, picking him up some nutritional supplements here and there if he needs, some protein or whatever. But yeah, he's really helped me understand a different side of the business that I just don't have the ability to see right now, and that's what I'm going for. Is that I do want to be signed to a major company. I do want to go as far as I can possibly go in the short amount of time that I have. And I
And, a,
actually, go
and
ahead.
an amazing human, by the way, one George All. I mean, that guy, his heart is, I don't know how his
Yeah, he
heart is
doesn't.
held
He
within
doesn't
his
have to
body.
be. He doesn't have to be as nice as he is, but he
Yeah.
continues to be super nice to somebody like me. And like I don't feel like I don't know if I deserve that. You know what I mean? I just try to be as nice as I can, put my best foot
Mhm.
forward, and I'll see. Like when I first started training, I would see the level that I wanted, that I aspired to be, and guys like him were there, and I'm like trying to mold myself after certain people, and he's definitely one of the people that I saw perform at a high level, and I was like, well, this is before he got signed. I'm
Right.
like, that's where I want to be. And so for us to connect now, it's great timing. It's perfect timing. Um, I don't want to be like spoiler alert or nothing, but this Tuesday at Top Rope in Fall River, I'm going to be in the ring with AEW star Jora Joel.
Oh, I, these weeknights that are too far. I wish they would stop doing these things. The school
Yeah.
nights just kick my ass. But I, again, not only being able to speak and pick his brain, and he just kind of, and I'm sure he like you were saying, he's showing, he speaks about a different side of the business that you would never be able to see at this point in your career. So all of that aside, now have you ever gone against him in the ring at all, or worked with him in the ring?
Two times, only two times. And this is funny that you asked me that because it's very ironic. Both times I've been in a rumble, and both times he has eliminated me from the rumbles.
Come on.
I'm not,
Really?
yep.
Uh, so
The first
I
one was October APW Clipper City Rumble. The
okay.
second one was December Top Rope Spindle City Rumble. And both of them, he has found a way to throw me over the top rope and make me fall to the ground. So I always joke with him. I'm like, as long as we're not in a rumble together, I'll do it.
I'm hearing that it's a singles competition where you can really, I mean, and I know you only get a very, very short, specific amount of time when you're in the ring, but you can get some really cool knowledge in just one match under the learning tree of one George All in ring like that. So that's going to be a really cool experience. And I applaud you for that, my man. As we were talking earlier, going from a young talent and trying to find his way through, and now look at you're
Oh,
going against George All, my man. I
I
mean,
tell you,
that's a big
man,
fucking deal.
I don't want to go into it too bad, too deep, but like it has been a difficult road. And I just I wanted to come on this podcast, and I don't want to sound a certain way when I say what I'm about to say, but there are a lot of people that like aren't super supportive of like me and my endeavors, and it's like that's fine. But like if you're one of those people that can't be happy for someone that has worked like as hard as they possibly can, right? I've changed my whole life around. I did a 180. Like all these, like my body has changed, my attitude has changed. I am just like working so freaking hard for all these accomplishments. And there's a lot of people out there that like they hate on me, they throw shade on me, they don't give a shit about any of the stuff I'm doing, and that's fine. But at the same time, like, isn't that what like when I was growing up, my parents always preached to me, what you get out what you put in. And like in the workplace, the people that get promoted are the ones that work the hardest. And so like I look at it like that. And it's like anybody I've heard even like most recently, there was a comment said to me at a show, and I won't say who said it because, you know, God forbid I God forbid I drop that name. But the comment was, I wouldn't have put that championship on you unless you were 3 years into the business. And it sounds to me like they just handed you that championship. Well, if you want to think that, fine. That's fine. But nobody's handing me anything. I haven't been handed anything. Okay. I have worked for everything I've gotten out of wrestling. And it has been a very difficult road. All right. Partially my own fault, but also not my own fault. Okay. So this championship I've won with my tag partner Diego Alvarez, who I don't want to speak for because that's not how I get down, but we have worked hard for that. Anybody that has a problem with him and I holding those championships, keep that energy. I don't care. But like if you can't support like someone who, it doesn't matter if it's me or you or anyone else, if you work hard at something, you deserve everything that you worked hard for. That's how I feel.
Um, I'm feeling that, especially in the world of wrestling, persevering and pushing through the sacrifices that it takes to become an athlete, such as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Missing family functions. Like you were saying, my girl, she had some major medical issues and she needed my attention. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and deal with real family life shit. But then when you come back, you're not, like you said, you're not half-assing it. I think you said you full assed it.
Full
And I
ass.
almost went, you full ass. I didn't half ass it, I full assed it. Now I want to
That's
make
the
that the
only way to
title of
be.
it.
You can make it whatever title you want, but that's the only way to be in this life. If you go around half-assed and everything, you're gonna get half-assed results. So if you want something bad enough, go for it 100%, and
Yeah.
I bet you'll like the results because I'm putting 100% of what I can bring to a table, and I'm reaping the benefits. It's not me. I'm not here talking shit. I think you know that, Don. I'm not up here talking about, oh,
No,
I'm so good. I'm better than this person. I'm better than them. No, all right. I had to work super hard to get into this shape I'm in, to
absolutely.
mature, to save all like whatever money I'm spending on gas or like some gear or like whatever. All the stuff I'm putting into my body, it didn't come overnight. All right, this has been something I dreamed about since I was in the year 2016. Before I even stepped foot in a wrestling ring, I saw this vision for myself, and here I am, right, starting now to finally see that vision come to fruition. Okay, so that was how many years? Like 7 years ago, I was thinking about this stuff, and it's finally starting to happen for me. But
And
I didn't give
wrestling,
up.
no, not at all. And wrestling is an art form that we speak of all the time. But starving, it's a starving artist lifestyle. When you're doing this wrestling for your training, for your gear, for your diet, for your workouts, for everything that it takes. It's a starving artist lifestyle for a bit, all depending on how you get latched on to maybe, the right eyes see you at said promotion or whatever, if you
Yeah,
get that lucky shot or what have you. But
yeah,
I see it all the time, my man. It's a starving artist lifestyle, and I feel for you guys and girls, and that's why that's part of being a wrestler that kind of really interests me on the whole package of what you need to become a successful singles wrestler. And that's part of it, man. I mean, that's just one single part of it. And again, I applaud all you guys and girls that persevere through this shit and real life stuff, the job and family and deaths and everything that you have to do. And I've always tried to, verbally say that, and I hope I always come across that way. And that's why I do
You
these
do.
kinds of things.
Yeah. And it's super easy to lose yourself to this crazy world. But I'm trying to stay as humble as I can possibly be, and that's my advice to anybody that needs to hear it is like, just because I'm a champion right now, right? It is nice. I walk around with a little pep in my step, but like I also understand that like being a champion, you have a responsibility to not only represent yourself and your tag partner, but the promotion to the best of your ability. So that's all I'm trying to do, and it's only up from here, you know.
And we've been talking 50 minutes, and it really has just like zipped right by. Holy cow!
Yeah.
I kind of want to spin back, if we could.
Yep.
You said that your girlfriend is part of wrestling as well.
Yes.
She is a wrestler and an aspiring wrestler. Where are we at here?
She's had a match. It was May of last year in a battle royal. And if
Okay.
you asked her that same question, she would say like, "Oh, I've never had a match before," because she's very difficult on herself. She's very hard on herself. Once you're in there and the bell rings, like I tell her all the time, you're a wrestler, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not. So don't go around telling people I'm training to become a wrestler because you already are one. Right now,
Under
she's at a, yep.
the ring name of, if you could share.
It used to be Heather Havoc, but she has since reinvented herself. She's working on a heel character under the ring name Selena Hakate, which has, different meanings and ties to things that she likes.
Okay.
Very layered, so it's probably better to hear it from her. But
Yeah.
from what I understand about it, she's a huge fan of Catwoman. Catwoman's real
Okay.
name is Selena, and Hecate is the goddess of death and like demons and all this other stuff. So she's big into like the horror movie genre and the occult and stuff like that. So she's trying to work that into her character.
Okay.
Right now, she's at a really good place in her training. She's had the luxury of being trained by some of the best trainers in the area, and she's really good. And she doesn't give herself enough credit, but I would assume like in the next few months, you'll be seeing her wrestling for certain promotions. She already has a bunch of them knocking on her door. And
Awesome.
if it wasn't for that damn back injury back in September at the seminar, she would have already been, well on her way. But these things happen, and it's not ballet. That's what they say, right? It's not ballet.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Now the reason why I bring her up is, you know, we talk about support system all the time. Having a spouse or a better half or a girlfriend or a partner that's within the same industry, especially being something like wrestling, um, you're able to maybe bounce ideas off of, hey, what do you think of this, or what do you think of that, or wouldn't that be cool to try, or stuff like that. It's just a little more in common spark,
Yeah.
Now, are you guys, and I've posed this to anybody that I've interviewed that are either, living together or, again, partners or what have you. Do you guys do you guys ever try to be like, hey, let me try this move on you, and maybe like in the living room, and
Yeah.
just
We goof around at home. A lot of times, one of us ends up hurting the other one on accident. We joke a lot because she has a nice relationship with my Adam's apple. For whatever reason, she always
oh,
hits me in the Adam's apple, and that's no good because I do need to breathe and talk. But just like everybody else. But I would say we do our best work like together in a wrestling ring, where whether it's like before a show and we can get some reps in, like I can do like internationals with her, and it's
Okay.
pretty fun. And she has like a mean headlock takeover, and we do some pretty cool stuff together. But outside the ring, it's all just like we'll bounce different ideas off of each other with like, hey, try this hold, or try to get into this move this way, and we chain and we do little things here and there. But it usually escalates and leads into somebody accidentally hitting someone in the Adam's apple, or you know, I can remember one training class I was working on a new corner move, like a face wash, like foot to the face, and I actually like kicked her in the face on accident. And
Oh
so
shit.
I made a joke about it, like, oh, I saved the receipt from the last time you got me in the Adam's apple. So she had like a red foot mark of my size 14 on her face, and that was good. I don't think I'll ever live that one down. I did apologize immediately, but she's a tough cookie, and she could take it. Second generation, by the way, Don. Second generation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her dad wrestled. Yeah,
Under the ring name of.
man. Please don't kill me, but I I don't remember. It's the fallen angel before Christopher Daniels
Okay.
was known as the fallen angel. Her father, Sean Walker, was the fallen angel. He had a different name than
Gotcha.
his shoot name, but he wrestled in Lowell during like the 80s, I believe, and maybe
Okay.
into the 90s. He had a shot with WWF at the time, but due to like some knee injuries or something, wasn't able to get signed there. So
All right. Um. Well, we STP as a whole, we wish her the best of luck in her career and pursuing the dream of singles wrestler. I just want to pick out one word that you mentioned earlier because I don't like to leave the boys and girls in the dark because the talents will come on, and not all the time, but when the lingo that is used in
yeah,
wrestling,
yeah.
not all the fans know what it really means. So I'm just going to pull international. Could you please just tell us the fans
Mm-hmm.
describe, because you were talking about, myself and your better half, do a little international, blah, 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 she's got a good headlock takeover. Talk to us about what an international is.
An international is a spot in a match, usually during like the beginning. You don't really want to see this done in the middle or the end, but usually in the beginning of the match. And the reason that it's called that is because it's in the name. You can do this spot with anyone from anywhere who has trained in a wrestling ring, whether they don't speak English. They might be from Mexico, they might be from Germany, they might be from Canada, they might be from wherever. And it's called international because everyone who has trained in wrestling knows the international spot. Not trying to get into too much detail, but it's just
No.
you know this that and the third, and you don't even have to really communicate it because it's just so well known. It's
Okay.
it's very like basic and generic. I would use it to like shine up a baby face. I'd be like, oh, let's get an international whip band. But
All right.
unfortunately for me, I have to be more creative with my internationals because there's such a size disparity that I can't do the usual stuff.
Well,
But I
I do
like it.
appreciate. I appreciate you breaking that down because, um, a lot of fans don't stride to read the dirt sheets and don't stride to be the smart fans. I guess as they're called nowadays in the modern era of wrestling. So when there's lingo and terms used, I'd like to, at least have it explained so, the people watching aren't like, okay, I heard him say that, but what the fuck does it mean? So I appreciate the breakdown a little bit. I do appreciate it.
I hope I answered the question. I hope I've
No, you
answered all your questions the best I can.
no, you did without going into a detailed thing, which I appreciate because we'll pull the curtain back just a smidge, but not all the way. So I appreciate the breakdown a little bit.
If for those of you that really want to know what an international is, sign up to a local wrestling school. They'll teach you.
Yeah, there you go. The current product, and again, wrestling has changed.
Yes.
The wrestling has changed. 8 months from where we talked to where we are right now. Let's see. Carry to 350. We're in April 2023. A lot has changed in just 8 months. Are you watching the current product? Are you interested in the current product? And what are you watching? If you are.
Yep. I watch the pay-per-views, usually a little bit behind schedule. And then I recently just watched WrestleMania weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch from start to finish. I hopped in after like maybe a match or two and then watched till the end. I don't watch AEW. I recently went on the Jericho cruise back in February, which was the most AEW wrestling I had seen. And from a fan standpoint, it was a bunch of guys out there having fun. It wasn't so much me trying to watch it from an analytical standpoint because they're just there to have fun, and it was like not so serious of a wrestling show. It was more for like, we want to have some fun. We want to just do our thing. As far as like the WWE product goes, a lot of changes. Last time we spoke, Triple H was in. Now he's out. Vince was out. Now he's in. Rumors of getting sold to Saudi, gone. Now they're sold to UFC or whatever. When I first got into wrestling, I think even the last time I came on the show, I said it was WWE or bust, and like that's not the case. I mean, obviously, that is my goal, but there's so many other avenues now that like I want to get signed to a major company, whether it be WWE or somewhere else. I like what they're doing. I tried to watch the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, but it was too much promo and not enough action, so I got bored. But I'm not happy with like the current direction with Triple H out and Vince back in. I don't know. I just feel like he was doing a pretty good job. The one thing that he did well that I will say is like he made us start to care again about the titles.
Right.
How good was that damn triple threat with Gunther? Like Jesus. And you're emotionally invested in the Bloodline, Sami Zayn storyline with Kevin Owens and the Usos, Solo Sikoa, Roman Reigns. People are pissed that Cody lost. I ain't mad. You know what I mean? Like everybody thought he was going to win, so it's like for them to swerve us and Roman to win. All the rumors were like, "Oh, he's taking time off after Mania." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, like so what? You didn't get the result you wanted. Boo hoo! Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just. I like what they're doing with the Bloodline, so we'll see how long they can keep that going. Yeah, I mean, bringing Trish and Lita back to do that title thing was kind of strange, and then they dropped
That
it
was
pretty quickly.
something. Yeah, in such a short amount of time.
I'll say this much: the one thing that pissed me off, I don't know about you, but the Shane McMahon thing, right? Sure, people do want to see Shane, right? Of course, you want to see Shane. It was great to have him back, but for him to do that and then blow out his leg, it's like my opinion is this: you have so many wrestlers on your roster, 365, right? And for that one night, for that one show, you whip out all these like part-time old timers, and like that's what you get. Like, why not ride with your best guys that have been carrying the company on their back for the whole year and put them in those positions? Instead, we get Snoop Dogg on an Audible and the world's worst fucking people's elbow you've ever seen. And he definitely punched Miz in the face like 2 times. You know he definitely clocked him.
Yeah,
Kudos to
both
the Miz
times.
for that.
Yeah, both times for real.
Another thing, the Bad Bunny angle. No, thank you. I'm good with that. Get him out of here.
Let's go back to the triple threat with Gunther,
Yeah,
Drew
wow.
McIntyre, and Sheamus.
Those guys, I don't know how they got through that entire match because at least one of them was concussed, and they hit so hard. Like I thought, like halfway through, I was like, "There's no way these guys are finishing this match." But there's a rumor out there that Drew McIntyre has been away from TV because he's like seriously injured. And like I did see that power bomb at the end. He looked like he took it up on the neck, and that's not a light guy. You know, you can be safe, but like that's not a light guy getting thrown down on another human being's neck, which is a vulnerable area.
The reason why I bring it up is because of the big guy stuff. Not only do they do big guy stuff, but you see what Drew does. He does like the Undertaker dive. Yeah. But I bring it up because that was a match that was kind of highlighted. If you talk to people, you're obviously one of them. That was one of the highlights of both nights of WrestleMania because who was in it and the way it came out. Those are 3 big, giant mother effers that put on a spectacle on the grandest stage at WrestleMania, and they really were part of the talk of a major part of the talk coming out of WrestleMania 39. Big guy stuff, but son of a bitch did they beat the living hell out of each other. That's what you sign up for when you get up on those higher platforms. I mean, holy shit, Mr. Pierce.
We talked about this last time 8 months ago. I'm not afraid of people like dishing out pain to me. I can take it. I'm afraid of what I could do to somebody else. I'm afraid of the pain I could inflict on somebody else. It's been that way my whole life almost. Especially since I hit my growth spurt and started putting on some muscle mass. It's like I don't go around looking for fights because not because I'm scared. Like I'm not a scared dude. If you want to get in a physical altercation with me, let's fucking go, right? But I'm just terrified of the damage I could do with my fists because I don't. Once I tap into that, like you're gonna have to pull me off of people, and I don't know people strong enough to pull me off of somebody if I don't want to get pulled off of them.
Well, you know, as they say, find the biggest guy in the room kind of scenario. Me, I'm usually one of the smallest guys in the room, and if there's something,
back, though, I got your back.
There have. Now we spoke of the very first time on our last SCP. We spoke of the first time that we ever met, and Johnny Pierce was a security guard, standing at the door, and I said something, and he said something, and we just started chit chatting, and then all of a sudden he's coming my way, hanging out with Buff Inc., but on a return kind of scenario, which was amazing because I got to see you guys. So you guys have so much fun though, coming down and just doing your thing. Absolutely love it.
The store, I'll take care of it.
Do you want me to lock the door though?
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. I
just good.
But yeah, no, I'm just kind of, bringing it full circle from when we first met to where we are now. We don't see each other very regularly anymore, but we are, we say what's up every so often, and we chit chat on the old book, or I'll put a mad face on, some something that you're doing, putting a boot to somebody that I like in their face or whatever, something like that. But Mr. Pierce, the cold hard truth.
Yeah.
You, at this point in your career, at this point in your life, you are in a fantastic place right now.
Yeah. I've had some really like great opportunities recently. I'd like to speak about them if that's cool. And like on the horizon, I have some of the biggest matches of my career. Let's see. Let's see. It's there's a lot to unpack, but most recently, like I said, I got a big match. I got a big match this weekend with the title defense. I got top rope Joel that Tuesday. That Friday, I got Mike Graka. Um, and then a lot of stuff happening in May. Um, I've been able to get my name out there a little bit here and there. I've been in the ring with a lot of cool people. I wrestled Bob Evans. That was cool. At a middle school, yeah, I got to wrestle brutal Bob Evans.
Talk about a learning tree. That guy, holy cow!
I wrestled Teddy Goods.
Oh.
That was special for me because when I had my debut match in 2017, he wrestled first, and then I wrestled second, and I'm like, great,
Okay.
now I have to follow that up, which I didn't do very well. But you fast forward like 5 years later, and I'm wrestling him, so that was really cool. I've had my battle royals with Jora Joel, and of course other people in there as well, or excuse me, Rumble matches. Um, yeah, I mean, all this stuff. I remember like the days of, looking up at the stars at night and putting this stuff out there. Oh, I want, this is what I want. All those years ago, having this vision for my wrestling journey and my character, and you know uh, all the countless hours and nights and days in my parents' basement, just clanging and banging and trying to do anything I can, scratch and claw, and you fall down 7 times, you get up 8 times, and it's finally starting to happen. And so it happens when you least expect it. Like when we talked 8 months ago, I didn't think I would be here right now. Tag team champion, one half of the Cold Hard Guapos.
It's the Cold Hard Guapos.
Yeah, that's our tag team name.
That is fucking amazing. I love that.
Yeah. And all these big matches coming up. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It's overwhelming at times. It's a roller coaster, the highs and the lows. I've made a lot of good friends along the way. People have been so nice with, like, even this weekend. Like, they let a couple of my buddies have let me crash at their places. There's one guy I just wanted to give a quick shout out to, who
Please.
is a lot like me. I don't think they get enough recognition. Part of the reason why I wanted to come on your show today, Don, is because I know my worth, and I don't think enough people give me the credit I deserve, which is fine. But I feel like not enough people are talking about Johnny Pierce, the Cold Hard Truth. And this one guy I'm about to mention, I feel like doesn't get enough recognition that he deserves. Sigma. I don't know
Oh,
if you've seen Sigma. Yeah.
I've only seen him once live at TOS. He was at Lone Survivor 4, if I'm not mistaken, very recently. So I've only
Yes,
met him
that's right.
once.
Face paint.
But yeah,
Yeah. Man, that guy, I gotta give him credit where it's due. He's just a really nice human being. He's been very helpful to me inside and outside the ring.
awesome.
Provided me with life advice, wrestling advice, and not to boot, like, he got me the opportunity at ETWA, where I'm now one half of the tag team champions. It's like, I'd like to think that he gave me the ball and I ran with it, because I could have dropped that ball. Like, there's a lot of guys, I don't want to drop names or nothing like that, but there's a lot of guys that drop the ball, whether it's like things in their personal life that get in the way or interfere with wrestling or whatever. He gave me the ball. I made a good first impression on the brand new promotion. The bookers liked me. They paired me up with my tag partner, who I don't know if you've had the chance to meet yet. His name is Diego Alvarez, the Guapo of Grappling. And that's where our tag team name came from. Cold Hard Truth,
Okay.
Guapo of Grappling, Cold Hard Guapos. We started out as simply singles wrestlers that would accompany each other to the ring. One would wrestle, one would manage, the other would wrestle, the other would manage. They put us in a Survivor Series tag match, and then our first time tagging together. This is pretty wild, right? Our first time tagging together as a tag team, we ended up walking out with straps.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
So people will look back to that Survivor Series match and say, no, you guys tagged there. No, we didn't. It was us and 3 other teammates. It was a 5-on-5. That's not a tag
Right.
team. That's a 5-on-5. As a
Right.
tag team, us 2 against 3 other tag teams went to war, and we came out with being the new champions.
That's
But
pretty
I don't
wild.
think any of that would have. I don't think any of that would have been possible if it wasn't for Sigma. Great baby face. You know, the guy has been busting his butt to get to the position he's at. He had a clinic. He put on a clinic with ETWA heavyweight champion Sonny DeFarge. They went.
Oh.
They must have gone 30 minutes, man, and they were like, man, I tell you what, that was a heck of a match, and he was this close. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sigma, and just wanted to give him a quick shout out because he's helped me out a lot.
Well, we appreciate the new talent's name if we haven't heard of, because don't get me wrong.
Get him on here.
I'll reach out to Mr. Sigma.
I'll shoot him a message.
Oh.
We could,
Okay. Thank you. Get some magic happening. Now I don't know if he's a newer talent, but I've only seen him once in my area.
I mean, he's newer. I want to say he's been wrestling longer than I have. I want to say he's probably into year 2 now with this Sigma character. Before that, he had been Billy Wankar, which I liked. I liked Billy Wankar. He was like an Englishman, but now he's Sigma, and his gimmick is that he has the appetite to eat planets. So everyone he wrestles is like a meal. He's going to satisfy his appetite. Yeah.
I knew he was, his gimmick was out there, but I didn't know it was out there.
Got one of the coolest catchphrases. And I say one of the coolest catchphrases because mine is the coolest catchphrase, and you know mine, right? His is right. His is I'm gonna eat till extinction.
Okay.
I think that's pretty cool. And so I said to him, "You should make that a T-shirt." And he goes, "I already did." And I was like, "All right, cool." But you know mine, so I don't know if you want me to say it or you say it.
No, please do, my man.
All right. Because I'm Johnny Pierce, and that is the cold, hard truth.
See, you say it much better than I do. I probably won't do it justice.
I didn't even hear you say it.
No, I don't want to fuck anything up, man. You're a big dude.
Right.
I don't want to get fucking jacked the next time I see you.
All right.
Now, boys and girls, if you're looking up Sigma, if you're like, who the hell is this guy? SIGMA, Sigma. Check it out. No, I like when the talents talk about, the promotions and the talents. That's why we have you guys on here, so we can get to know more. And hopefully, I can at least get one more set of eyes on one Mr. Pierce. Hopefully, we get multiple set of eyes on
I need a lot of help in that department, I tell you.
I know. My reach is only so far, so hopefully we get a little bit of spotlight on one Johnny Pierce.
Anything you can do to help. I'll just say this much. Over the years, it's just there's a lot of trainers, there's a lot of bookers and promoters, and there's a lot of like my peers, my wrestling friends, and I'll use that term loosely, wrestling acquaintances, people that wrestle in the business. That I've just had a difficult time getting my footing, and now I and you've said it throughout this episode. I finally feel like I have it. I'm comfortable. I'm getting better. I'm getting my reps in. I'm getting my name out. Yeah, man. I'm really starting to reap the benefits and the fruits of my labor. But it's just been trying. It's been difficult. Always in my head for whatever reason. I've been getting a lot of advice like, oh, you shouldn't be in your head, and once you're done wrestling, like leave it there and don't take it home with you. And I'm trying to implement that, but it's not as easy as you think.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because that I'm like a bigger wrestler or like taller or like like stronger or whatever, but I've had a lot of people tell me that it's this way when it's really that way, and I try to do what I'm told to do, and then I end up doing it the wrong way, and then I get reprimanded or scolded or this or that, and you know, I got people telling me, "Hey, if you pay me this much money and come to my training school, I'm gonna get you where you need to be," and it doesn't work out that way. So yeah, like you said earlier, as long as I get in front of the right eyes and the right group of people, sky's the limit. And I think I'm finally starting to not only like understand and grasp that, but I think I'm putting myself in those positions to be successful in the business. And it's a motherfucker, I tell you that much.
Mm. Not an easy task, my man. Not at all.
I'll
That's
say
why
I've fallen down on my face quite a few times trying to navigate these waters.
mm, and that's kind of why a part of why STP exists is to get backstories of talent and get to learn about them and such outside of the ring. But just to kind of talk to uh, you crazy ass fucking people that are in wrestling, because a it takes a special breed to become a wrestler. It really, really does. And with everything, all the tools that it takes to become a singles wrestler, it's just mind altering. And what you have to do and to continue to do, because again, we've said it 2 or 3 times, never ever ending learning. So something that honing your craft is a continual thing,
Yep.
a continual process.
I got a
But you
long way to
can,
go. I got a
yeah.
long way to go, but I can comfortably say, like, I take pride in this very fact that every one of my opponents has been able to go to work the next day. They've never left the ring with any injuries to speak of. Once they wrestle Johnny Pierce, they know they've wrestled Johnny Pierce, but I'm safe. So anybody that like thinks I'm unsafe or untrained or whatever they want to say about me, all the naysayers, like don't talk to me. Talk to my opponents. Ask them if any of them have ever come out with any sort of injury or haven't been able to go to work the next day, or if they don't feel safe with me in the ring, like they'll tell you. They'll tell you.
That's for sure. People aren't afraid to tell you what's up. Not all the time, but not nowadays more than ever. Mr. Pierce, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half, and we've
Yeah.
covered
How long does
a
these
good.
things usually go?
It's always random. I've gone to 3 hours, probably a
Yeah,
little over 3 hours.
I watch some of the shows. I got to do a better job watching more of them. But I've watched a couple of my buddies come on here and chat it up with you. You guys
I
always do a
appreciate
great job with stirring the pot. Whether it's you, whether it's your guests. I don't know if anybody else helps you out with these, but
it.
it's
I'll
one of the
mention.
better run podcasts out there. And I know you do this on YouTube, but I saw you also were on, was it Apple Podcasts?
I'm on Apple, Spotify, YouTube.
Woo! Woo!
Hey, like you said, you got to evolve.
STP.
We talked the evolution of the talents. We talked the evolution of wrestling. But the show, it's got to evolve a little bit. And with the help, we talk about the support system out there. Without the help of the prof, Rick Del Santo, I would not be on that expansion. So, uh, you know, hugs to my guy, one Rick Del Santo. Love him to pieces. Mr. Pierce, we've talked so much stuff on your return, and we could probably keep going another hour and a half, I would imagine. But we don't want to extrapolate. Ha! Look at me with a big word. We don't want to extrapolate everything out of you. So, we can leave a little bit left over and then see what's happening with one Mr. Pierce and maybe another. 8
I think
months or
like
so.
let's try for 4. Let's try for 4.
Oh,
Eight,
wow.
8 was a little too long.
Oh, okay. You felt it was a little too lengthy? That's
Yeah.
all right.
And I feel like it's worked for me in the past when I've come on your show. So this being my second time I return, maybe it'll work for me this time. I remember
All right.
last time I said that I was gonna make a big impact in the War Games match, and like I wasn't afraid of any of that stuff or any of the competitors or the steel cage and this, that, and the third. I called my shot and I knocked it out the park. If you haven't seen the footage, like go watch it. As soon as I got into that match, it changed. Okay, the atmosphere changed, the electricity in the build, like business picked up, and it's not. I don't like. I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna brag or boast and toot my own horn. Watch it for yourself. Make up your own mind. I don't give a shit. But what I do want to say is like I have on my radar. I'm gonna put this out there on your show, Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid. Second episode with Johnny Pierce on my return. I don't know when. I want to say likely summer. Originally, I was going to do winter of 2023 because I felt like that would have been good. But things are starting to happen. Like the wheels are spinning, and things are starting to happen a little bit more quicker than I anticipated. Some doors are opening. Things in my personal life are getting better than I anticipated this early on in the year 2023. Again, I don't know when, but I'm calling my shot because it worked for me last time. I am definitely going to make it a point to do everything in my power, get on wrestling in the year 2023. And I don't know when. I'm going to shoot for the summer. If not this summer, then definitely in the winter. Beyond Wrestling's on my radar. I don't know if anyone from Beyond is watching Stirring the Pot or is going to see this episode, but anyone that's a fan of Beyond Wrestling, whether you go to the show, whether you watch, their YouTube channel, I'm coming. I'll be there eventually when I feel like I'm ready. A lot of people have been trying to get me to go over there. Hey man, you need to go to Beyond. Hey man, we think you should go to Beyond. And I said the same thing to them as I'm saying to everybody else. When I feel like I'm ready, I will go, and I will impress, and I will get booked. And it is my goal to stay booked when the time is right. Originally, like I said, it was going to be winter, but I'm thinking I might have to push that up to the summer. And that's a special place for me because I used to live the town over from where they run in Worcester in the White Eagle on Green Street. I can't throw a rock from there and hit my house, but it's like 15 minutes. And so I got a good feeling that I can pack that sucker up. And I won't say Johnny Pierce fans because, like I said, and I'm a heel, so you want to boo me, boo me. But there are people in my circle that have told me they want to see me wrestle, and what better way to do that than in my own backyard?
Well, I mean, they do have that really cool wrestling open thing that's doing on Wednesday nights right now.
When Johnny Pierce, I think it's Thursday nights, right?
Oh, Thursday. No, you are correct. Thursday.
But when Johnny Pierce comes around, it's going to be wrestling closed, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's what the episode is called, Wrestling Closed.
That one episode, yeah, that'll be a closed door episode. I'm gonna close that door. But no, in all seriousness, they're doing some great things. I do feel the pressure from people to get over there, but like I said, I'll get over there when I'm ready.
All right. Hey, that's a great outlook, man. A great mindset, if you will, to not jump the gun and make sure. I just don't feel like I'm ready, and I really want to impress, and I really want to be at a certain point.
Yeah, I'll know when the time is right.
Awesome. Sure. Mr. Pierce, you've been an absolute fucking gem through this conversation. This was amazing. I love the return of the talents, but yourself, you're very open, very honest, chit-chatted with us, the fans, like we were just a couple of friends, few friends hanging out in the living room, and I appreciate that comfort level. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't like that kind of environment,
Well, thank you. And gave us some love at the top and a little sprinkle throughout. Boys and girls, this has been a fantastic hour and 30 minutes, baby. But before we do let you go, we got to get some
Yeah.
deets from you,
Yeah,
because
I'm trying.
we want to get some new faces. The face page, the Twitter, the Pornhub,
Yeah.
whatever you've got going on, hit us.
All right. Twitter and Instagram at _Johnny_Pierce_. I know that's a pain in the ass to type, but it is there for a reason. Johnny Pierce was taken already, and I'm just a creative motherfucker, so search that shit up. Facebook, Johnny Pierce. TikTok, unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's the way of the world. So I do have a TikTok now. That's Johnny Pierce on there, or _Johnny, one of the combinations. I'm not going to give out my Snapchat because that's kind of personal. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I do a pretty decent job like plugging different shows that I'm going to be at in my matches. Just want to shout out a couple promotions that have been treating me the way I feel is the right way to treat somebody like me. NRG, New England Ring Gladiators, ETWA, Eastern Townships Wrestling Association, Northeast Championship Wrestling, NCW. Big title match coming up. I'm going to plug that. May 6th, it's going to be the Riot Kellen Thomas, who is their current Northeast champion, I believe, which is like the New England type champion, against the Cold Hard Truth Johnny Pierce, where I'm looking to add another championship title to my collection. It would be my first singles championship, so that I'm really excited for. I'm training super hard in the weight room for that. So I mean, I really hope. I know the Riot's been around for a while, but I really hope he brings his A game because he's going to need it. Because I'm bringing mine. Let's see. Starting up a new promotion in May, Green Mountain Wrestling. So I want to give them a shout out. They put me front and center on their poster, which is pretty cool. I didn't think I'd be on the poster, but I'm front and center right in the middle.
Where's Green Mountain located?
Bear, Vermont, Barre, Barry, something like that.
Okay.
It's in Vermont.
Okay.
So yeah, and then Top Rope Promotions. Tell you what, I used to be the kind of guy that would pay a ticket to be a fan and go watch a Top Rope show. So it's pretty surreal to be on the other side, where I'm now, being asked to come perform at those shows. And it's been a place that I've been wanting to wrestle for a while. So for them to not only have me wrestle for them, but to continue bringing me back, I wanted to give a shout out to Top Rope as well, TRP. So
you've named some fine promotions, some upcoming promotions, but it's such a mixed bag on the indies. You never know where you're gonna go, who you're gonna go against, and you end up with the likes of getting a singles championship against one Riot, Kellen Thomas. You go up against the likes of somebody that is on AEW regularly, being one George Jaw, who's in the mix over there, and you share the roads with him now and then. Doing some really cool shit, and we are happy for you to see your career start to actually flourish and get kicking a little bit. Get the steam rolling, and absolutely cool to see you in the position you are right now. Absolutely.
I feel like there needs to be more of that in today's world. It's very easy to spread hate, and it's harder to love. I've always felt the love from you, DK. Whether it be when we run into each other at shows or coming on here stirring the pot. Yeah, man. I feel like if I could leave with one thing tonight, it's that we need to do a better job spreading love and a better job avoiding the spread of hate, because it's part of the reason why I am the cold hard truth. It's a cold world out there, man. And you really warmed. I don't want to get too like ooey gooey, but you warmed my heart today. I had a rough day today, and coming on this show today, it just was a blessing, and it was the highlight of my day.
boys and girls, he's gonna make me cry, and I cry easy when we talk emotions like that. We started with some beautiful words. Mr. Pierce ended with some beautiful words. What a beautiful bookshelf on each end of our conversation. This was absolutely amazing.
We're
And
gonna have to do it again.
4 months. We'll have to check
4
back.
months.
4 months. We'll
August.
see what happens. Yeah.
I tell you what's gonna happen. I can tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have, if it hasn't already happened by then, Frank Champion and I are definitely gonna collide in NRG. So yeah, that's gonna be
Oh.
right around that time frame. I'm hoping
All right.
by the end of the summer to be over at Beyond in Worcester
Huh?
and debut there, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great summer. I know my girlfriend's definitely gonna be wrestling by then, so you guys be looking out for that. And public service announcement: watch the way you talk to women in the business. Okay, sick and
Ooh.
tired of that shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Me personally, no, but I've
Do you
seen,
hear stuff? You see stuff?
yeah.
Yo, that stuff comes back to me. She tells me everything. So if you're one of those guys, talks to her a certain way, I'm gonna hear about it. And, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Just be nicer, guys. Be nicer to the women in wrestling. It doesn't happen often enough. Knock it off.
There is a meme that goes around, the women are there to work, not to be hit upon and such.
Exactly.
Right?
If
Yeah.
you don't have something nice to say, don't say it.
Yeah. PSA from one Johnny Pierce. What a fine way to close us off. Boys and girls, excellent hump day on this fine Wednesday evening with the cold heart, truth, Johnny Pierce. So this is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very special guest, the cold hard truth, Johnny Pierce. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
DK, thank you for having me. Don Kincaid, all the fans are Stirring the Pot. Beautiful start to 2023. Let's keep this momentum going. I can't wait to come back, man. I'm going to keep spreading the word. We're going to get more people on here. We're going to get some new faces.
All right.
And shout out to all the new up and coming talent. Let me just say, there are some really talented guys on the scene right now that are kind of very similar to me, just starting to make their way. And if you don't already know who I'm talking about, it's very easy to see. A couple name drops: Red Sawyer, Patrick Saint. Those guys, like Jesus, those guys are Mark Alexander. Like my goodness.
Mark Alexander, I'm down with. The other two, not so much.
You said it, not me. I don't want any trouble.
Hopefully I live to see another day, my man.
I think so. I think you'll be okay, and I got your back.
Yeah, all right. Thank you again, Mr. Pierce. You have been awesome, my man.